thing. This car was so much fun to drive. But it's changing. And here we have the material for the shade. Now, we have lightweight, flexible solar panels that are now available, but I don't have them here. I'm going to use what I have. And they are gonna protrude. Let me go around this car, because I can talk all I want at any time. I can overdub some talking. But I'm gonna rebuild this car. And so I better get my pictures of it now. Okay. So there she is, the flea. But it's got no shade. And so the first thing it's going to get is a big roof on it. That's better. Yeah, in previous videos, I had this. And this used to be a 49cc, and then I said, well, I don't want that. I want a solar. So I made a solar electric out of it, and I drove it around a little bit. But look at the driver protection it affords. None. So that's better. Yeah, so I had built this thing. It was called the Flea, F-L-E-E. And it's 49 cc's it was. Yamaha front end. I drove it around. But then I lost interest because look at the driver protection. Now, I have to tell you that 10 things that are better about this car than a Tesla. A, it's repairable. B, it provides shade. C, no distractions. It doesn't have a big screen in the middle of the dashboard. D, the charging is a safe voltage and you can tailor it to your solar panels. If you charge it at all, because you park it in the sun, you never charge it. Less power consumption, if it consumes any power, because it's streamlined. A nice three-wheeler. It's recyclable. This thing is made of metal. It's got very little use of plastic. I got the plastic windows, which is too bad. The rest of it's recyclable. The brakes and the steering always work. Just the same. No power assist. They work fine all the time. They're always on. The rest of the car, yeah, here's another one that I didn't think of. When you turn it off, it's off. You can modify it. You can change the motor, change the batteries. New batteries come out. Oh, I wish I had them. Fine. Put the old ones in your house. It's built to last. Is basically built to last forever. Now, you got to keep it painted because it'll rust. Other than that, it's built to last. And it's got a non-toxic interior. My daughter got this Prius that my mother had bought. And, oh man, it stunk for 15 years. The thing's 20 years old now, and it just finally stopped having the goddamn new car smell. Ugh. So, that's 11 ways this is better than a Tesla. I only had 10, but I came up with another one. And it's Ford, if you want to make a successful car, yeah, we want simplicity. And that means no central computer. This car has totally component system. That means one thing breaks, you don't have to replace the whole car. You fix the little thing that breaks. And hey, if one thing breaks, it doesn't make the rest of the car not work. If a door latch doesn't work, it doesn't mean your car won't run. So it's got totally independent components. They're not hooked together. Now, it is web enabled because I got my phone. But the phone is not hooked up to the steering or brakes. The basic component of this car, well, it's got two basic components. One is shade, sun protection. And of course, that's the charging system too. And the other one is survival. Because it's built cage first. That's how I started it. I started with the survival cage with the 2 roll bars. And I built out from there. Now, the front is empty, and this is a sacrificial zone. You know, I drove a VW bus for years. My kids grew up with it. In Hawaii, I let my daughter drive it when she was 3 on my lap. But anyway, here is the wonderful suspension system, which is twin beam. See, I got them anchored on one end. Oh yeah, that's great. So full suspension. And let me just get some good shots. That's what it's like. It's a 3-wheel torpedo. And it's coming down the highway at you. Yep, it's a streamliner. It's a round nose streamliner. And I don't really know how to handle the ground effect. I have to do wind tunnel for that. But it is that. It's got a little curve on the side. Not much. Both sides. And the door is the gull wing window. Open the window and then you latch it up there and then you open the door. I think I'm going to change that. But on to my goals for this car. In front of the steering wheel is a big space. And that space is for an air conditioner. A regular little home air conditioner, which is about 1/3 the size of a car air conditioner. Because look, I'm sitting in the shade. I am sitting in the shade at most of the time. Now, let me show you a few details while I'm here. I've got twin beam front end, like a Ford, and hydraulic brakes, front and rear. I used Geo Metro rear brakes for my spindle. And you know, I sort of developed a style of custom building where I start with the brakes because I know I'm going to want to drive it right away. So I took some rear brakes and I welded up some kingpins. And I like hydraulic drums because they run at lower pressure. You don't have to power assist. Now, in the rear, I have a big old Honda rear end. That's going to go. And the reason it's going to go, I have a motorcycle transmission. And, you know, I like it, but we're going to talk about this. Because as this sits now, what if you get a flat? Oh, you're so screwed. So, I'm going to do away with this whole rear end. And I'm building a new one. Where's my new one? And I'm building a new one. And this one, first of all, it uses drum instead of disc. But the Honda disc was okay. It was not power assisted. But this thing, let me get these out of here. You're going to be able to change a tire. And that is important if you're going to actually drive it. I'm going to drive it. This is meant to drive. It's meant to drive and it's meant to survive a crash. Now, it's going to have this spacer on it right here. And a sprocket. So, later for that. And, let's take a look inside. There. So here's the flop down door. I know. I can do better. So This is, yeah, it fits two of me, or me and a small girl, side by side. But really it's the front and rear. It's got a back seat back here. And the back seat is surrounded by steel. This whole thing, the first thing I did was start with a steel cage. And the main cage is two roll bars, a front and rear roll bar. Now, let me get inside here. Oh yeah, in my car. Nice grips coming in. All right. Now, obviously, I got it made in the shade. Now, my steering wheel, you know, I wasn't going to be able to do collapsible steering column. See my cage? Look at this. It is meant so it might survive a hit. If I get hit, hopefully, it wouldn't be against a cement wall by a semi-trailer. I don't know. It's tough. But anyway, I start with this cage. Now look at all the wasted room in front. Well, there are two reasons for that wasted room. One of them is streamlining. Of course, shade is already accomplished. But one of them is streamlining. Let me turn this microphone actually. And the other one is safety. That is a squish area. That whole thing is meant to destruct. Look, I have no steering column because I did cable. Now, that might not be legal for cars. I don't know. It certainly is for motorcycles. And boy, does it work wonderfully. It's just wrapped around this spindle. It's got plain bronze bearings in there. I did the little bronze bearings throughout. And, hey, I got suspension. It's progressive. I have little springs. Well, you can't see them there. There's little booster springs under there. Anyway, they, there you go. Anyway, it's progressive. Brakes. I have a separate front and rear brake. There's the rear brakes. Front brakes. Because it's a motorcycle. But, you know, I might actually tie them together with some sort of balance device after I get the drum in the rear. So, here I am sitting in my car. Now, where this steering wheel is tied to, yeah, it's welded in. It's welded in here and around here, down, you know, around the side here. But, you know, in a crash, I don't want it to survive. I don't want it to kill me. So, you know, padded steering wheel and, yeah. There you go. Here's my padded steering wheel. And, I don't know. I don't want to get hit hard enough to break through this thing. I really don't. And I guess I could have seat belts. Really nice. Oh, this car is so nice inside because it's meant to be. Oh, yeah. Steering is so wonderful. I tell you, this steering is wonderful. It's light. It's not power assisted. Now, because I have no power assist on the brakes or the steering, they work all the time. That is so important. When something fails, let's say a road rager puts a bullet through your batteries. Well, I want my steering and brakes to work. And they won't on your Tesla. So, the reason for this door, this very cumbersome door, look, it's got steel. And that steel bears up against the other steel, whatever you want to call them, the roll bars. So, you know, survival is my aim.